Nuketown is a infamous COD map. It's one of the most famous maps of all time. If you were to ask somebody, hey, like, name a Treyarch map, they're most likely going to name the likes of Nuketown, Fire Range, or Firing Range, Raid, Slum, Standoff, but Nuketown will always be the first one to come up. So it made a lot of sense for a Nuketown Zombies map to actually happen. Well, while it did make sense, Nuketown Zombies is probably one of the more difficult zombie maps out there. I like it though. Unlike the other difficult zombie maps, I actually like Nuketown Zombies, and I will play Nuketown Zombies from time to time. So let's get into it, shall we? So Nuketown Zombies in the zombie storyline actually takes place around the same time as the likes of Moon, with a TV coming on and on every 3 rounds or so, with Richtofen talking, and it had Richtofen talking as he was talking throughout the Easter egg. Now, a little bit of on round 25, the Easter egg for Moon is actually done, and the switching of the souls, switching of Samantha and Eddie, actually occur. And the final cutscene you see at the end of Nuketown is obviously one of the rockets hitting the Nuketown site. So the Nuketown Zombies map, I believe, is the actual Nuketown, like Black Ops 1 map, but after it got nuked. So either CDC or CIA, so basically just a bunch of random soldiers will come onto the area and they'll deal with the zombies threat, of course, for as long as they can. Now, some things about Nuketown. So Nuketown has this, I guess, gimmick to it, where every few rounds or so, a random perk or pack-a-punch will drop down. If you're playing solo, it's guaranteed to be quick revive first time round, but if you're playing co-op, it's random. I do tend to see that pack-a-punch will come down relatively early, but Jug will sometimes come down relatively early, sometimes come down relatively late. And because of that, it can create this situation where you have to be good at the game to survive to get Jug. Like, Jug could come round 25, and you basically have to just survive that long. Now, Nuketown is the first ever zombies map to be part of a collector's that isn't, you know, like a remake, basically. So, because obviously you had the World at War maps in Black Ops 1, which you could get through DLC 4 or the Prestige Edition. However, Nuketown was available through the Hardened Edition. This was actually the first time I bought a special edition of COD, was to play Nuketown. Nuketown was actually my first zombies experience for Black Ops 2. And the game ended and my Xbox had a red ring of death, and I was like, you know what, I'm not playing video games into Christmas, and then I ended up getting a new Xbox for Christmas, which was really cool. But yeah, Nuketown is a very interesting zombies experience. I actually really enjoy it. It's a very difficult zombies map, and because of that, I don't really play it much. Because when I play zombies, I like to chill, relax, and stuff like that. But sometimes I do like a bit of difficulty, and you know, I hop on Nuketown. Now, there's a few cool little like Easter eggs and such on this map, but this is a survival map, and you can tell it's a survival map. There's another survival map later on, once we get to World War II, where I won't be able to talk much about it because it is just primarily a survival map. And Nuketown is kind of the same case as well. Obviously, the Gavin Knuckles return from transit. Molten is actually in this map. He's in the bunker. You can barely hear him, but if you like knife the bunker, you hear him talk every now and then. And I believe at the ending end scene when you die and obviously the rockets get launched off, the bunker's open. So I think he went outside, saw the rockets were coming, like, oh shit, I need to shut the bunker door again. Typical Molten activities. This DLC actually was available later on for people to get, so it wasn't exclusively stuck to it just being a season pass or a hardened edition. It was available for about $5, so it's about £4 in the UK, which is relatively good. And Nuketown does return again in Zombies twice actually. It'll return in Cold War as, I believe it's like Nuketown 1984, yeah, and then obviously Alpha Omega and Black Ops 4, which Alpha Omega does have a lot more gun for it this time around than Nuketown does. Now let's get to some trivia. So the loading screen is actually a very interesting thing, and the loading screen is They changed the loading screen twice. Obviously, the first time for the actual Nuketown Zombies, and then as part of the zombie comic book series, which is pretty fucking cool. Obviously, I talked about it, about how basically the perks always get dropped in and stuff. The mailboxes on both maps are still say Woods of Mason, however they're both knocked over. In the yellow house, there's a little shed and there's a power-up door basically. So if you pay 3,000 points, you can basically it'll open the shed door and you can get whatever power-up is there. I'd honestly recommend it you get like a max ammo from that, because as far as I'm aware, I don't think you can get a perk-up drop or anything like that there. Every now and then, you will hear the bus horn from Transit. Yes, I believe it is Transit, which is pretty cool. The left side of the loading screen, you can still see the comic book page of Nuketown. I think this is the final map to actually have... Oh no, Black Ops 2 is the final game to have the comic book style loading screens into Origins, and then Origins does its own thing. Mob also does its own thing as well, but because Mob was originally going to be its own separate thing, it wasn't going to be part of the zombie storyline, and then it ended up becoming part of the zombie storyline. But yeah, that's a really cool feature, of course. Nuketown Zombies are inspired by the Manhattan Project of the atomic bomb. Of course, in Kino, letters of the floor piece together the sentence about Manhattan down. In the background on the map, you can hear air raid siren. Is that what it is? Well, I'm actually surprised myself, actually. I thought it was it's either air raid siren or honk. I think it's both, actually. I think both is in the map. And yeah, like, I think that's all trivia-wise for Nuketown. But yeah, Nuketown is the first map where it does feel like a survival map. And it feels like it was just added for the sake of having another map in the game. It didn't really bring much together story-wise. It did basically show us like where one of the Victor's crew were pre-transit, and in that regard, that's really cool. Like, I'm glad they had that in. But this map kind of just felt like they really wanted to Treyarch really wanted to make Nuketown a Zombies map, and they just said, "Fuck it, why not?" I just did it, and I think that alone was actually a really cool idea. I don't know if people agree with me on this regards, but I don't mind a multiplayer map being a Zombies map. I think Summit would be a really good map for that. But obviously, I think Treyarch have of course been very smart with picking what maps would be a Zombies map, with Nuketown kind of being the only one. If they had to, I mean, the best way they done it is Onslaught. Onslaught was really the way they did it. They did it relatively well, Onslaught, where they basically picked whatever multiplayer maps they want, and they obviously added the Onslaught kind of rules to it. In terms of this map compared to the other BO2 maps, it's probably towards the weaker end. It's a solid map, but compared to the likes we get in the later DLCs, basically DLC 2, 3, and 4, it's not as good. Now, of course, next video I'm going to be talking about the one and only Die Rise, which is going to be a very fun video. But yeah, so yeah, overall, Nuketown Zombies is fun. It's a fun survival experience if you want to get better at the game. And if you want to prove you're pretty good at the game, it's a pretty good map as well. Anyway, that's all for Nuketown, and that's all for this video. So here's the usual outro stuff. I'll see you Muppets in the next one. Peace.